In celebration of International Women's Day, this March we've got something very exciting coming to you. Welcome to Art Television and welcome to Game Changers. I'm your host Joanna Adams, and of course this time around we've got something exciting and different happening for you. We're here at Colombo Courtyards and we have a wonderful guest who's going to share a little bit of a story about the once upon a time in her life that has brought her to where she is, challenging obstacles and challenging everything that she did know to what she knows now, and making a name not just for herself but also reaching out to thousands of women in Sri Lanka. We're pleased and proud to have our guest joining us on the show. So I'm going to say hello and welcome with an absolute privilege in my heart to the lovely Ashcharya Jayakodi. Thank you for joining us, Ashcharya.
Lovely to be here. Thank
you,
wonderful,
wonderful. So Ashcharya, I think before we get into the questions and before I get into the interesting topics of asking you about life and the journey, Ashcharya, of course, is a lady who has been awarded as someone who has been successful, especially with her visually impaired situation. Nevertheless, even with the obstacle, she has climbed the highest of heights. And today she's going to share a wonderful story with us. So in sharing the wonderful story, let's go back to the beginning. Tell me, just in a nutshell, a little bit about your childhood, what it was like growing up, family, education, hometown. Just tell me a little bit about all that.
I was the only girl for 10 years until my little brother was born. So quite pampered, and I come with a bit of a mixed family background where my grandparents comes from Bentara, they are farmers, come to settle in Colombo, and one of their daughters get married to this rich guy in Colombo, and obviously mixture of the village and the high society in Colombo. So I had to live my life sharing both ways, because where I loved most was to live as myself as a villager. Because that's where I thought I really experienced the true natural quality of a human being, where my grandparents really stood up for. Where my parents actually really struggled to earn and look for social statuses, never much bothered about their responsibilities for their children, and I think it's quite common these days. But I'm glad, I'm blessed to be born in such a family, because who I am, what I am, really represent of the kind of experiences I had when I was a child. But also must say, I had a very strong child life, where I was loved by everyone. At that time, we didn't encounter much of, child harassment or molesting or any such sort nowadays, So I was really free. I had a little chopper where I used to travel, telling my mother I would just go to my grandma's, which is about 200 to 300 meters away, but whereas I go all around the town, 3, 4, 5 kilometers, and come, thinking my mother will find me out. So I had a kind of a mischievous life and a very sensitive mind and heart to understand another human being. So putting up in a nutshell, that's the kind of life I had. Greatly loved by everybody, pampered, and loved to do music, loved to do painting. I was a good artist. I could play my piano well at that time, but later on I was not allowed. My parents were so scared. I think they were terrified, thinking that I will end up my life as an artist. It will not pay much of a mortgage or insurance, So they wanted me to have a kind of a vocational training, some kind of a professional, where they had the society level that they believe that people will look up to. For instance, a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer. So I was almost there. I was selected to the Colombo University for law and journalism and English, where I was never let to go in that path, because I was in love at that time with somebody who was almost controlling my life. And because of the tough time I had at home, a tough father, a mother who didn't much bother about the children, she was there, she was always there, but I really didn't feel her love in my soul, in my spirit. And I was looking for that everywhere. There I found someone who I believed who could give it to me, and I trusted him so much. Well, it's ironical how it turned out to be that everyone I trusted simply gave up on me the moment they thought that I lost it, you know.
Okay, so just stopping you there, actually, getting to that point of it, you're a person who was born with
my full vision.
Yes, a completely normal day-to-day life of any other human being. You had your full vision, you saw things. And then I believe you had this travesty that struck you, and that's where life just went topsy-turvy, changed for you. So from someone who was able to visualize from the simple thing, and someone who appreciated from the blue sky to the hustle and bustle, tell me a little bit about when this happened to you, the challenges that you faced, and how you uniquely looked at this instead of a curse as a miracle.
Sure, love to. It all started in 2000, March 10th. I was traveling home after office and never know what I was heading for. I was in my vehicle, and after 3 days only I recovered that it was a bomb blast that I happened to lost my sight, and had severe injuries to my left leg, where doctors believed I could never walk. But sometime later they believed that I'd be able to see, because both my eyes had a great swelling, and I was in a critical condition, so I was in the ICU in General Hospital. I stayed there more than almost 2 months, I think. But still, I felt that life was all right at that time, because I always had hope. I thought everything's going to turn out well. After some time, I get my sight back, I'll be able to walk. My loved ones are going to be around me, because I had a great family, relations, friends, and neighbors who greatly appreciated me. So I didn't have much of a burden of what I'm going to head for, if I'm going to put it in that way. But after some time, I realized that every day I'm becoming a burden to somebody, and looking after me had become a great burden to my family, to my loved ones. Day by day, I actually saw everybody pushing me to some kind of a corner, trying to claim that I'm some kind of a psychological, I'm going through some kind of psychological,
like a psychological problem, like as
problem,
if you're going
like
crazy.
Obviously, somebody who suddenly lost the sight, obviously have some kind of a mindset, how to face, suddenly you see everything, suddenly everything is gone, everything is dark. I mean, people tremble a lot when the electricity is gone. Just for 1 hour, they can't even find their way to go to their own washroom. How if looking at somebody who's going to face their entire life, I don't know when I'm going to get my sight back. I'm praying to God that I will get it every day, soon. But, looking at my life, I've spent almost 18 years in the dark, right? It's like putting up some kind of a black sheet in front of your eyes. And not to forget that I was somebody who was really active, looking forward to head for all the dreams in my life, wanted to be a lawyer, wanted to be a professional, and also love to be in my own house, dream for all the luxuries in life as everybody else, longing to get married and have my children, wanted to be a mother, a great wife. I should say I had all the dreams of every other woman, what a normal girl will wish for. But suddenly, when I was so young, everything was gone to me, and I was not much heartbroken when I lost my sight, or I was on the wheelchair for many months. I was greatly heartbroken when the loved ones around me was abandoning me, one after another. pushing me into a corner that you're not blessed anymore, that you're not welcome to. I was not welcome to weddings or any such blessed party in my family or my friends, you know. And they always thought, okay, she was not good enough to be welcomed because she lost it. She was blessed when she had everything. Now she lost it, right? And I was actually looking at this particular concept saying, how narrow-minded people can really be, right? And there I was led to live my life for almost 11 years until I met my great husband, who I'm married to now, Jayakodi. I led my life in a way that I was so much of pain, so much of struggle. First of all, I need to know where I'm going to head my life for. That I realized there is always a date and a time that you have to blame another person of steering your life in a wrong path. Mm-hmm. How long you can blame a third party for that? So I started actually taking the wheel to my own hands, driving my life the way I really wanted to drive my life. And for almost until the day I lost my sight, I lived my life to the expectations of my family, my loved ones, my friends. And ever since I lost my sight, I live my life to expectations of God above and to myself. I want to be the kind of person who my daughter, my children will grow up and look up to say, you were a great mother.
You know what, Ashcharya, on that note, actually, before we take a break, I'm going to pause you at the daughter and the husband, because my next question actually is going to be more about your current life and the things you do. But in the meantime, we're going to take that quick break. I must say, it's been wonderful and compelling to listen to you so far. And as a woman, as a human being, I'm feeling absolutely inspired. So thank you. Please do stay with us, because the story is just midway through and there's so much that has to continue. Coming up, we're going to find out a little bit about Ashcharya's current life and exactly how she has reached out to poles and levels of society, not just women, I believe, but people from all around the country. So do stay tuned for that. If you're just tuning in, this is Game Changers. I'm Joanna and you're on Art Television. Hey everybody, welcome back to Game Changers. If you're just joining us, this is the Women's Day edition, and we're not limiting it to one day, we are limiting it to the entire month of March, celebrating women from all walks of life, from different parts of society who've got wonderful stories to contribute. And of course, for those of you who were with us a few minutes ago, we have the lovely Ashcharya Jayakodi, who was telling us a little bit about early life, about the challenges she's faced so far in her situation. And Ashcharya, welcome back again. Yes. We're going to continue with my next question, which I introduced to you before the break. Yes. That was, of course, focusing on the here and now, which is the current life. You mentioned the fact of your beautiful daughter and the fact that you haven't seen her, and your husband. Tell me a little bit about your family right now, this family that you're very fond of.
Well, why I'm fond of is every one of them is that I met them at a time that I was so weak. I haven't seen any of them, basically in physical condition. I know them, who they are, where they're standing within. They respected me for who I am, for not what I am. That's why I'm greatly, keeping my attachment so tight with my husband and his family and his friends especially, because they really love me for who I am. They deeply love me. I don't think they widely love me, because those people who deeply love another one, who love them for who they are, no matter in what condition they are going to be, right? Whether they have a title, whether they are not, whether they are, whether can be a popular artist, can be a popular singer, can be a great professional, can be a politician. I mean, the power is not much appreciated with such a group of people who really love you for who you are. So I'm blessed in such a way that I found this kind of family. When the entire world thought that I lost it.
Yeah, and tell me a little bit about your daughter. How old is she?
Actually, she's almost completing 4.5, and people say that she looked exactly just like me when I was 4 years, 5 years in my photographs. And she's a combination of Sesat and what we really stand for. She's a tough character. She's very sensitive. She has a heart of an angel, and also a mind of a powerful leader. She's a great artist. So God has blessed me a second chance in my life, because my own family didn't allow me to go through the kind of things that I appreciate in my life, which was art in any form. I mean, art is just painting or doing music in any form. So I'm encouraging her to do everything she loved to do. I don't care whether she turned out to be an artist. I don't care whether she turned out to be a dancer or a musician, as long as she's content with what she does, and she's happy, and she finds her own life and beauty to her soul with what she does. So I'm teaching her these kind of things in such a small age, because we will never know when God will call us for. I might live for another 80 years or 90 years, I never know. But certainly I want my child or my children to live a life in a way that they will appreciate everything around them. They'll be thankful to the little things they have, and they will not value the richness of the dollars or the rupee, but the richness of life, the richness of moral values,
On a fun note, tell me what your favorite thing to do with your husband and your daughter is. What's the thing that you love doing most?
We dance a lot at home.
Oh, that's lovely.
And we sing a lot. Of course, I'm not a good singer. My husband is. But we pick up certain words like, say, a butterfly. It's just, in the garden. We try to pick up and join those words together and make up a little song. And we have a little tune, that with our own voices we say la 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 tin 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 like that. So she keep on dancing. Obviously, I don't know how they are dancing in front of me, but we have quite a jolly time at home. But also we do that because we are very serious people when it comes to our profession, both my husband and myself. But when it comes to our family, we forget about all that. We want to behave with our child like children.
That's actually lovely.
She's actually forgetting that we are actually her parents. So she has her own names. I don't want to say that in open media, but she has this little, very laughable name she's calling us. When she doesn't call me Amma or mother. She has her own pick of words and names to call me. Like cartoon names. That's the kind of life we have, and she has not still recovered that I can't see. That's the fascinating part of it, because I do everything at home as a normal person. I cook, I sweep my floor, I wash my bathrooms, and I iron my clothes. Basically, I do everything at home. I don't use another woman's hand to do the needful I had to do as a woman and a mother and a wife at home. So she is unable to understand that I can't basically see. Yeah. But thereafter, I have heard that she's trying to close her own eyelids and walk in the house because she wants to imitate me. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to let her do that. So maybe step by step, when she's getting stronger in her set of mind, I would make her understand.
That's true.
What I stand for, because she has everything to be proud of her mother, and unlike so many other women as mothers in the society. So I want to teach her that values. So we have a small family which values love and affection, kindness and caring, support for each other, we are under tremendous pressure all the times because we are working 24 hours at home and in the office. Very rarely we get 6 or 8 hours sleep. Day before yesterday I have 1.5 hours sleep, and just the day before that I have only 3 hours sleep. But in between all that, we try to find time to our loved ones, to look for their needs, to entertain them, and to tell them, at least by simple words, say that you are worth it.
And Ashcharya, on to the final thing that I would ask you, because I think there was a lot of essence you shared that was really beautiful about especially life in today's society, and the fact that sometimes we have so much but we do so little with it, and we're always above and beyond the complaints. Now I've been told that you are on a very different journey since this change and turnover of life, and you reach out to so many audiences. In fact, you were mentioning to me before we started this interview that yesterday you were with another group, and tomorrow you're going off to another part of Sri Lanka to address another group. Tell me about this role you've taken up as an ambassador to not just women but people all around, to stand up and be proud of who you are and not complain and go on. What are the things you do in this role of empowerment?
Well, I should say my mark was a designer, but thereafter I think people realize that I've come from some kind of a background. Even though I look like, say, a Bollywood, somebody from Bollywood, like a fish come out of the society and trying to be a Bollywood star, but within myself, I'm coming from hardship. I'm coming from pain, and that is where I constructed the beauty of my life. So people started recognizing that certain groups of, people who really needed such a personality to motivate their staff or their families. For instance, yesterday I had to head for Dambulla to address different set of women and generally everybody who in common go through all kind of problems that we all go through. But why they fail to cope up with it is that they focus on the problems more than the solution, and they're trying to easily give up on life. So I'm called in such a places to teach them, life is full of excitement when failure is there, right? Because it is the success of failures that you really discover of somebody else's real strength. It is not a strength or qualification you can get in any certificate, right? Not from O-level examination, not from your A-level, not from any other diplomatic field, like or vocational field, but through experiences of facing the life with all its trials and traumas, and that is God's given gift. And I am going there to teach them, take your challenges as opening to your success, a stepping stone in your life. For instance, if I am to put in an example, I had to suffer my life with hunger, not having enough food to eat when I was abandoned by everybody, 1 meal a day sometimes, not having anything sometimes. That has given me such endurance when I travel abroad, and when I travel so much to the ends of this country. I go to Kankasanture, I go to Dambulla tomorrow, I'm heading to Kuruvita. Sometimes I stay, well speaking, for many hours, so rigid, so strong, without having a single cup of tea or a drop of water. Why? Because I have endurance. I have faced hunger. I know, and I face, that has given me the kind of exercise to be in this. So why I'm saying that is, every suffering will give you some kind of a strength that you have to learn to add it up and be stronger. So this strong person is in every one of us. But why life is failing is we fail to understand the strong being within us. So I'm traveling to give a little tap to their own inner soul and to say, wake up, get up. If I can do it, so can you.
Okay, thank you so much, Ashcharya, for that. Going into the second part of things on life, I have 2 more exciting features coming up, which I'm going to address to the core of you, and I think that appeals to all women today, irrelevant of which walk of life you're from, but this is more in your skin as a woman. We're going to find out about that in just a few minutes, but I have to say, thank you. It's such an inspiring journey to be seated here with you, but we're going to be back And we're going to be back with yet another interesting part of this episode of Game Changers. Please stay tuned and find out what's on the other side. Welcome back to part 3 of this episode on Game Changers. As most of you have been with us so far on the episode, we're here with Ashcharya, Jayakodi, who's telling us about life, about the challenges. And now we're going into yet another interesting part of our conversation, the highlight of the fact that you're a designer, and I believe the garment you're wearing from head to tip, I would say, designed by you, just like you mentioned. I think this is very interesting because we've got a lot of young people there in different universities following different aspects of design, and they don't have the greatest challenge that you have, yet you are able to put all this together.
Yes.
Tell me exactly, from your point of view, what's it like to design? How do you design? Just tell me this out of interest.
This is why I always say I thank God for giving me the birth as gifted by this kind of a talent. You know, I was a designer when I was schooling, had my site, didn't give much of a weight to it, Joanna. But when I realized I really lost it, I failed to find a way to buy a pair of shoes. I had 2 pair of shoes which is almost falling apart. And I didn't have a way of, you know, finding my own clothes because I was living alone without anybody's help. I had financial problems. I didn't know how to go on my own to pick up another cloth. Then this I always speak when I as a motivational speaker, I speak the power of imagination in a human being. So for 11 years and 12 years, where I was, the world thought I was dead, and the world was dead to me. I had the free time to discover my own self, and then started exercising and implementing and improving this God-given blessed talent that is within me. So my mind really works like a computer. What you really do with a pencil and a pen, with a paper, I do it with my brain, with my mind. What you do with your graphic designs, I do it in my brain. So basically I do all my sketching, my color combinations, and all my designs is all in my head. Then step after another, I develop it within my head, and you know, go to a material shop or to go to any shop where I need to find the basic materials to do my product and carry on with it. So I am proud of myself, where people always start complaining of not having this and that in their lives, right? I don't have so much of things compared to them.
So the design process, on the subject of the design process, now I know you.
That's why I was actually coming there.
Okay, how do you put it together, the garment? How do you get it stitched
so when
up
for instance, if I decide something like, for instance, what I'm wearing is almost like a yellow gold. So and
you're
when
spot
I decided,
on, by the way, about that.
and my shoes always comes with gold and a little red mix, because you know, I always think if I'm a designer, it's such a shame that I have to go to another boutique and buy a pair of slippers or clothes for myself, because where is my talent, right? So almost every day I wear what I really, you know, produce, even my shoes. So color combination, because my fellow designers really tell me, and in their own set of words, that I have excellent talent, God-gifted talent of colors. Now, for instance, for a normal ordinary human being, blue is a blue, either light blue or a dark blue. For me, it spreads to a range. You see marine blue, you see peacock blue, you see swimming pool blue, you see sky blue, you see mauvey blue, right? Likewise, blues are everywhere. So that's where I stand as a designer. You know, I appreciate the colors, the combinations, it's nature, but you know, started appreciating the beauty of the color, and I'm thrilled every day, you know, rolling myself in a colorful world, even though I can't see anything physically. I see everything within myself. That's why I'm a successful designer. You know, people are stunned sometimes whether a visually impaired designer can she really do this? You know, whether can she really see a little at least? I'm laughing at it. Why? People are skeptical about what I do is because they fail to find their own strength within themselves. They are always suspicious of their own talents. Where I feel myself very strong and rigid, right? Whether I have my sight or not, right? I am who I am. I am a designer. So I always trust people, don't look at myself or try to honor me because I'm a visually impaired designer. Because my clothes, my outfits or what I produce doesn't have that remark of a visually impaired designer producing. Nobody can look at it and say, oh, something's wrong, somehow she can't see. My clothes are perfect. My shoes are perfect. My products are perfect. Just like a normal human being. Why they are amazed is because, you know, even having a perfect vision, they find difficult to concentrate, you know, and use the mind and the heart freely given to us to think. That's why I call the power of imagination. I have that strongly within me. I live on it. Right? It takes me where I need to go when it comes to designing arena as well. Right? So this is why I'm producing my clothes. Why? Because my imagination is strong. Where I'm thinking, okay, I need to design a sari which has a blend of little ash, little green, little blue. It's not a color you can easily explain to somebody or catch from a material shop, but I want to first combine it, spread it through my design, and I will want to go and hunt for that material. No matter where it is, I'm going to hunt for that, right? That is where my uniqueness is, that I take challenges in every work I do. It's a challenge for me. I get my pleasure and my inner amusement with the challenge. If there's no challenge, there's no Ashcharya existing.
That's true. And on a final question, I know you've shared so much in terms of the inner power of you believing in yourself and all of that. So if we were to put it in a nutshell, as you know, we're reaching out to a vast plethora of people out there, women who are from the young to the young at heart, if I was to put it very simply. From your point of view, with the journey of life you've had and everything you've been through and where you are today, what would be, if you were to, instead of detail it to me, but if you were to summarize the top 5 key messages that you would share with the women that are watching this program out there, just the top 5 things, but in a very quick spectrum of it, how would you say it?
Well, first, appreciate who you are, no matter which background, which social arena you're coming from. Try to appreciate who you are, because we are beautiful when we are different. Don't try to look up to somebody, try to be another person. Try to be who you are, first of all. Whether you are a white skin, a dark skin, a tan skin, black hair, short or fat, in any color you are, any shape you are, appreciate yourself first. And then I always feel that try to take the life as a journey, that don't take it as a burden. Don't take life as a burden, right? Because sometimes I travel to Jaffna, and I'm just telling in 1 minute, coming back from Jaffna is such a great burden to think of myself, how am I going to travel, how am I going to get back to Colombo? But when I'm thinking myself, okay, from Jaffna I will head for Kilinochchi or and Vaunia and Kilinochchi and get myself there, have a cup of tea, enjoy the atmosphere, and spend a little time, and then go to Anuradhapura, have a little time there, have my lunch. It's a journey. So my travel is not going to burden me. Life is just like that. In every step and every year that you're going to spend in your life, take it as a journey, as a trip, and enjoy it, And on the other hand, I think we should learn to be, we are all loved when we are born. We are loved when we die. But in between, do we really live as human? As mothers, as sisters, as wives, we have a role as a woman. As a woman, we have a role of a daughter, of a companion, of a neighbor, right? A sister, a mother, a grandmother, So our success depends, no matter which social arenas or which profession we belong to, coming back at home, right? Do you really play that role of such status? Right? So in my life, I'm a very busy person. I'm overloaded with work sometimes, more than I can bear. But through all that, I find time. I squeeze into to places where I can be with my family, right? Entertain them, tell them that I really love them for who they are, not for what they are. That's where that had made my life so perfect. For a happy heart, life is a continual feast, right? I might not be the richest woman in Sri Lanka or in the world, but I am the happiest, right? Not being able to see, that is a plus point, right? I found my success, I found my victory, I found everything who I am right now when I lost everything at a point, right? So I feel I should say to all women, be yourself, love who you are, and try to cherish the values, because women are going through so much of extraordinary, tremendous, ordeals and trials and turbulence, and every one of us face that. But when we have a sound mind to look at it as a blessing to our life, just what I said, hunger had endured me, strengthened me, right? And loneliness, sadness. I was so lonely for 11 years, not having a single human being to even bring a packet of, grain, just a rice packet to feed me. So lonely, so desperate. Because of that, any pain that comes in my way, it's just nothing for me. My heart, it's built in such a way I endure all things. Why? Because I was trained as a soldier, because I feel we are all soldiers in life.
Thank you, Ashcharya. That was actually beautiful, the fact that we are all soldiers on a journey. And thank you also for all the knowledge, the wisdom, the kindness, and the wonderful words you imparted on all our viewers, including myself today. Thanking you for the time that you've taken to be here with us. On behalf of our television, on behalf of all our wonderful viewers and fans of Game Changers, I'd like to wish you the very best of abundant successes, and may your message go to more and more people, more and more women, not just in Sri Lanka, but all around the world. We wish you the very best, and with that, we're going to say goodbye and call off this particular episode.
Also, Joanna, must say, it's a great honor to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. If at least one person is blessed by a little word I say, that I am blessed. So bless you and this wonderful program, and may you have all the strength to empower so much of women yet to come.
Thank you so much. And on those wonderful words and on that excellent note of ending, ladies and gentlemen, and especially to all the women watching us, we wish you all a fantastic Women's Day, or should I say Women's Month, right here from Game Changers. So keep watching exactly what we have in store for you in the weeks to come. Wonderful women, wonderful challenges and walks of life to talk about. And of course, have yourselves a pleasant day.